My name is Ronald Bernard, and I'm an expert in development. I am here at the MCTV for the fifth series of Dialogue with the Candidate. Dialogue with the Candidate, it's an opportunity we give to every candidate. They can come to the platform, share their vision, their political agenda, and how they're going to bring result in changing the lives of people they are willing to serve. So this evening, I am glad and honored to have with us Mr. Jimmy Pereira.
Yes.
Good evening, Jimmy.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, and thank you for coming.
Of course.
So, Jimmy, as you're running for mayor for Brockton, and I believe it's not everybody probably know who is Jimmy, and this platform, this is what we're doing. We give opportunity for people who running for office to talk with the people who are going to vote. So how about you let the audience who are listening to you now talk about yourself. Who is Jimmy?
Certainly. So again, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Jimmy Pereira, running for Mayor of Brockton. Actually, this is the second time doing so. We ran in 2017, came really close, 10% margin against the late Mayor Bill Carpenter, who passed away July 3rd of 2019. So again, we ran 2017, came really close. I was born and raised in the city of Brockton. I was an average skewed, meaning that I got in trouble. A single mother household. I'm a first generation American. My mom immigrated to America from Cape Verde on April 4th, 1987. But I, again, went through the system. I was an average skewed. I ended up in the foster care system in Springfield, Massachusetts. From there, I ended up going to a vocational school, Putnam Voc Tech, where I learned sheet metal welding. But graduating from there, I wanted to pursue a higher education, so I went to Westfield State University, where I focused on geography and regional planning. I minored in ethnic and gender studies, so I could look at not just the built environment, but the socioeconomic disparities that coexist in these built environments as well. But upon graduating from Westfield State University, I wanted to work with the city of Springfield, kind of pay my dues, and there I was the healthy design coordinator, working on community and transportation projects as well. And then concluding that, I came to the city of Brockton, came back home. I now own a home there since 2015, and work at the Regional Planning Agency as a community and transportation planner. So I've been working with government for over half a decade, working with 17 communities, Brockton included, so from Avon all the way down to Plymouth, working with these communities to make progress. We're an extension of the state, and as a community and transportation planner, we are basically tasked with making sure that we look at projects and incentives that will help the greater good for the community that we service.
Okay, thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
And Jimmy, you mentioned that you ran before for mayor.
Right.
So why now you decide to run again?
Well, before the passing of the mayor, some of the issues still, existed in the city of Brockton. There was some progress made, but I see that we may all have different visions, but the objective is the same, is to make Brockton better. And that's why I wanted to make sure to continue this fight, because there are a lot of things that I still see that changes need to be made. And making sure that we know that in Brockton we have a strong spirit of never giving up, and make sure that we put up a good fight. So that's what we did in 2017, and that's what we're going to be doing again in 2019, because again, it'd be a shame for me to let my city down, my community down. So I have to make sure I put my best foot forward and work hard for them.
Okay, having said that, are you assuming that you continue with the vision of the past mayor or the actual mayor?
I think, the same thing that I said and I was planning on doing in 2017 was not just to do what the mayor is doing, but to do better. I want to make sure that we continue to move the city forward, but do it progressively and do it by tenfold. So as a city planner, community transportation planner, I know that it's a multifaceted approach. And actually, before the mayor passed, we had conversations and dialogues about, what the vision was or what the plan is and what I wanted to do for the city of Brockton. And some of the things he was able to look at and say, that is a great idea, but he was, there's still some things that he was of concern to him. It was, some things that he didn't understand completely, and some things that are new and innovative as well too, which through the conversations we communicated as to what it was, and that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that we look at the most innovative things, the best practices that are out there, and bring it to the city of Brockton, like bike share, which you'll see in Boston, but you don't see anything like that in Brockton. Improvements to the economic development corridor that we want to see in the city of Brockton as well. Infrastructure and the patterns in the city of Brockton, like two-way Main Street. Reality is it's not just a two-way Main Street. You have to look at the whole fabric, the whole transportation network. And again, with the homeless situation as well too, there were some things that the late Mayor Carpenter did that I didn't encourage or I didn't like, but it's also making sure that there's a follow-up. What is the solution to the homeless situation? What is the solution to the opioid epidemic problem? What is the solution to the economic development or lack of economic development in the city of Brockton? So those are things that we want to improve and continue to move forward with.
Okay, thank you. And I believe it's all the candidate. When you're talking, guys, about what people facing and what you plan to do to change, to improve the circumstances in people's life, you all have, the same passion and ambition. So, what makes you different from the other candidates,
Certainly.
like other people's running, and
Right.
you all want to do the,
It's a great question. Great
Yeah.
question. I feel what sets me apart is that I am more so. I probably have the most, and it's not to sound arrogant or anything like that, but it's just know that I have the different experiences that a lot of the candidates don't have. And growing in the community, being in the community of Brockton, born and raised, I lived on a lot of different streets in the city of Brockton, but never on the, unfortunately, I didn't make enough money to live on the west side. So, but the streets that I grew up on, Newberry Street, Tremont Street, in the Crescent Court homing projects, the projects there, Roosevelt Heights as well, and I own a home on North Warren Avenue. I didn't just stay in Brockton also. I went to Springfield against my will, but because of the experience that I had there, I learned a lot there, but I came back to the city of Brockton, also going to Westfield State University. A lot of different environments that I've been in, and I've learned to adapt in those environments and knowing to work with the people that come from all those environments as well. So whether you're in the urban community, the suburban, or the rural community, I've been in those say ecosystems or those environments where things are different and relationships are different. They seem different. But also looking at the different classes as well too. So low income, middle income, upper income. I've been able to sit in rooms with everyone from all different backgrounds. Again, and having experience with the youth, also the at-risk youth, and making sure that we work with the foster care system. Being from a diverse community, also being able to make sure that I don't just learn about my own culture, but learn about the cultures of others. And we've been able to do that. I've been able to do that. Studied French 1 and 2 in high school, studied Arabic in college, Spanish as well too in high school. So making sure that even if I don't have a 100% grasp on the cultures of other people, is to make sure you at least get some type of understanding so that you can continue to learn about people from other communities. And I think that's what sets me apart from the other candidates, knowing that I have an array of experiences and making sure that it's not just professional, but it's the academic and it's the personal experience that we highlight as well.
Okay. I would like to remind the viewers that you are listening to MCTV, Multicultural Television Network, and we're hosting the show called Dialogue with the Candidate. It's a series where the candidate, they come and share the vision, share the plan with the public. So when people, they will go to the poll to do their civic duty, they will do it in a informed way. So having said that, how does Brockton gonna look like under your leadership? Let's say 100 days under
Yes.
your leadership. What should
Right.
people from Brockton should expect?
So you should definitely expect ease of access to information. There's a lot of things that we want to do. I know, especially working with municipalities, is you look at the short term, midterm, and long term, or you look at the low hanging fruits. What are the closest things that are to the ground that you could easily go and fix and get accomplished? So we want to start looking at the pavement management system and the way that we work with DPW, Department of Public Works, engineering, the whole facet. Everyone in City Hall, we want to see how things function. We want to make sure that we provide an audit as well to get a better understanding of where the money is. We are going to concentrate on the budget as well. But again, making sure that we focus on the low-hanging fruits, like the homeless situation. We didn't make sure that we prioritize how we're going to work with not just those in Brockton, but those neighboring Brockton as well, because we know that a lot of the homeless population aren't originally from Brockton. They're coming from different areas, because we understand a lot of issues arise, not just in urban settings, but in suburban and rural settings as well. But it's making sure that we have a dialogue, we have a conversation with not just the regional partners, but the state delegation as well. So we're going to increase conversations about homeless and how to bring solutions to that. We're also going to look at making sure we prioritize economic development in the city of Brockton and really focus with the MassDOT and the Regional Planning Agency on what are the next steps for two-way Main Street, and what are we looking at as far as the fabric of the neighborhood. Also working with Governor Baker and making sure that we look at the Opportunity Zones program, the initiative that is coming down the pipeline as well. We want to make sure that we have access to information on initiatives such as that, and also making sure that we are in line and ready to work with our state and regional partners when it comes to making sure we have funding for the city of Brockton. So, and also making sure we prioritize education funding. The Fund Our Future program is something that we want to prioritize and make sure we advocate for. And again, making sure that we enter the lists of communities that are going to be fighting the state through the legal actions for a better educational funding formula as well.
Okay. If we try to put in priorities, like we try to prioritize the issue people in Brockton they are facing, how would you prioritize? Like, what would be number one if we go number two? And
right. So when you look at issues the city faces, there never it really is who's first in line.
Okay.
There's always again, it's a multifaceted approach, and that's why I look at the conglomerate approach, where you have organizations and departments from all sectors come to the table, all the stakeholders, and we find out where is the overlap, what are you working on and what am I working on, and how we may be able to help each other and be able to communicate better. So but I could tell you the top issues that we see in the city of Brockton is definitely the homeless situation, the opioid epidemic, traffic and congestion, and potholes as well, and the lack of economic development, the vacant houses also, and making sure that we get more revenue into the city of Brockton, again, with economic development. And those are all the things that we want to focus on, and making sure, again, that we look at the short-term, long-term, and mid-term, of course, effects and solutions that accompany these issues.
okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And for instance, in this race you've been, and in September, it's where people they're gonna decide who's gonna go for the next
Right.
round. So, what are the challenges that you anticipate, like as a mayor, you'll be facing in order to produce results?
Right. Issues that I see is really just making sure that people understand what the goals are, and my job is to articulate that to the city council. I feel that the mayor's office is similar to, and the city council is basically, the mayor's the CEO of the city, is the executive director. The city council is the board of directors. So you have a group that you have to come and explain what is going on in the city or the corporation, and what it is that you plan on doing and where they can help. So I want to make sure that we have a sound relationship with the city council, and that they see the vision also and the best practices, and provide information to the city council in a timely manner and a transparent manner as well. And I think, especially living and working and growing up in a diverse community, is making sure that all community members know what's going on, and making sure that we follow federal guidelines like Title VI, which says that if you have a population of 1,000 or more, you need to make sure that you're providing translation services and interpreter services to these community members who request it as well. But I don't just want to wait for someone to request it. I want to make sure that we provide information at the onset to say, hey, this is what's going on, this is how you get involved, and if you have any more questions, please come to us, or we will most certainly be happy to come to you as well, because we find that it's more important to go to where people are, go to their comfort zones, and make sure you work and engage with them. And there those issues that we think will be there, we always want to make sure that we mitigate and plan ahead for it, so we anticipate what those issues are, and that's why I'm already ready to be able to answer what the solutions should be for those issues that I think we will be facing, God willing, if we get into office. So But most certainly, it's about making sure you plan ahead and you work with the partners and stakeholders at the table.
Okay. As now we are about at the end of this dialogue, and it is a question that I ask all the candidates at the end. It's like when I say a question, let's me rephrase it. Say it's an opportunity I give to every candidate to make their case
Right.
for the audience that is listening to you now.
Right.
So why they would vote, for you. Make your case for the audience who are listening.
Certainly. Thank you for this opportunity.
You're
and
welcome.
If I may state my case to the audience and especially to the Brockton voters, for me it's about making sure that you know that I am dedicated to the job. I am a community transportation planner, but more so a public servant. I have been working with Brockton and the neighboring communities for over half a decade, and also working with the state and federal delegation as well. So the FHWA and FTA, Federal Transit Authority, and Federal Highway Administration as well. And being familiar with the projects that are going to be coming down the pipeline and what is already in place as well. I believe we need a spokesperson that's going to be relative to the community members, that's going to be adaptive and making sure that they actually go out to the community and engage community members. And that's something that I have been doing for, again, ever since I've, even before I got out of college, and also working with Department of Youth Services. We have a big issue situation in the city of Brockton, not just youth homelessness, but youth substance abuse as well. And we want to make sure we provide more opportunities for that. I'm raising 2 children in the city of Brockton. I myself grew up in the city of Brockton. I seen the good, I seen the bad, I seen the ugly, and a lot of that I don't want my children or your children to see growing up in the city of Brockton. So make sure you like someone that's going to work hard, that is dedicated, and is going to be relentless when it comes to making sure that we put our best foot forward and work hard for the city of Brockton. Thank you for your time, and I hope you get out to vote September 17th. If you need more information, please visit the website, www.jimmyforbrockton.com, and also on Facebook and other social media platforms as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy, and thank you for everyone who've been listening to this 5th edition of Dialogue with the candidate. And we have Jimmy Pereira, who's running for mayor in Brockton. So thank you, Jimmy, for accepting our offer to come here to talk. And thank you, the audience, for listening to us. Good evening.